Hi everyone, welcome back to SmugMug Live. This is episode 49 of our little show here. Thank you so much for joining today wherever you are in the world. You're more than welcome. We have a very, very exciting show lined up today. SmugMug Live, as always, is brought to you by SmugMug and Flickr. I'd really appreciate if you went and checked out what we have to offer at smugmug.com and flickr.com. And of course, we'd really, really appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel, hit that little bell notification. That way you'll be notified whenever we go live here on SmugMug Live. And of course, if you're enjoying the show today, hit that little like button, give us a thumbs up and show your appreciation for my amazing guest today. As I say, it's episode 49, and what better way than to have the 49th episode, than to have a whole group of guests on. And we have 3 guests today. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hiya.
Hi. So I am so honored to be joined by Renee Robyn, Joe Robison, and Bella Kotak. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good?
Good.
Very well,
This is going to be really interesting. This is the first show I've done with so many guests. What could possibly go wrong, right?
I'm looking forward to something going wrong now.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
Expectations are high.
Yeah. These shouldn't be high. No.
Ironic. Trying to make them low as possible.
Yeah, it's always like, under promise, and that way everybody will be pleased when it goes quite well. But I've asked our guests to join us today because they've just launched a new project called the Alchemists Library, which we'll get to very, very shortly. As always, it's great to see so many of you in the chat window giving yourselves a shout out. It's always great to see what part of the world you're joining from. And we have such an international flavour today, not just in the panel of guests, but in the people joining us. So I'm going to give some folks a little shout out just now. We've got Mark Harris joining us from New Jersey. Hi, Mark. Stefan is joining us from Belgium. John Brown is joining us from the Dog Pound. We have Fab Rice joining us from France. Bonsoir. James Lafferty is joining us from Canyon Lake in CA's California, right?
Yep.
Annie White is joining from St. Bride. She says, hi, Curtis and Renee.
Hi, Annie.
Mally Davis is joining us. She says, hello, Alistair. Hi, Mally. Nice to see you on the show. Tracy Edwards says she's so excited for this. I Create Life. Hello, everyone from New York. Oh, my goodness, we could be here all day. Russ is joining us from Michigan. Heather is joining us from Colorado Springs in Colorado. So an incredible group of people joining us already. We have a little bit of a Canadian-UK feel to the panel today because, Renee, where are you at the moment?
I'm in St. John's in Newfoundland.
St. John's in Newfoundland. How's the weather there?
It's unreasonably sunny. I came here to be here in the fall because it's usually foggy and rainy and, that beautiful misty weather, and it's been sun.
Joel, what about yourself? Where are you today?
I'm in the Rocky Mountains in British Columbia, and it is currently snowing. So
Nice.
it's winter.
Yeah,
Winter
and
is here.
as to be expected. It's meant to be snowing, right? It is winter.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone shook the snow globe today.
Bella, what about yourself? Oxford?
In Oxford, and it is properly autumn here.
Yeah,
So it's so funny that we're both in like extreme seasons right now because everywhere you look right now, it's just floods of colour.
Yeah, it's the same here in Scotland. The autumn colours are just incredible at the moment. Although we had quite a lot of storm winds over the last few days, so most of that colour is now on the ground rather than on the leaves. So as always, folks, if you have questions while watching the show today for any of our guests, then post those comments or questions in the chat window. Start your question with the word question. That way I'll be able to find it if you ask a question. And we can get to those at the end, or we can interrupt our guests as appropriate as the show goes on. So I'm going to start with Renee, who is the main mastermind behind all this. Tell us a little bit about the Alchemist Library.
Yeah, so the Alchemist Library happened because I wanted to do I wanted to bring a bunch of creativity to the world where we're all stuck at home right now, or at least in most places of the world, we're still stuck at home and places are going back into lockdown. And knowing that the second wave was coming, I was like, well, as much as I didn't want it to be a thing, it was probably going to be a thing. And I was like, we're going to be stuck at home again. Summer's gone. Let's like pull together a bunch of creatives and just, make something and give it to the world as cheaply as we can. And so that's what we did. I basically put together my wish list of people, and I started going through the list, and I was like, there's no way everyone's going to say yes. And then I got to number 14 and I was like, oh my God, everyone said yes. So yeah, that's kind of how this happened. And I wanted to pick a mix of artists because there's so many artists that do amazing work that people have never heard of. And then there's people who do amazing work that a lot of people have heard of, but we haven't necessarily cross-pollinated audiences, right? So it was like, people who follow my work may not have heard of Joel Robison's work. People who follow Becca Bjork's work, or Bjorky, sorry, maybe don't follow Ashley Von Helsing's work, right? And I was like, well, let's put everyone together and just like show the world like this amazing group of artists and what they do. Even ones who've never done tutorials before, like Lillian Liu, she's never done anything like this before, anything educational. And I didn't think she would say yes at all because I thought that it was intentional. And she was like, yeah, that would be great. Let's do it. And I was like, okay, great, awesome. Now what?
So you have these 15 artists, including yourself, that have come together to create this tutorial. But what is the big mindset? What is the main theme? There's a spooky theme, right, for the start?
Well, yeah, there's a spooky theme because it's Halloween. So Halloween is the second most popular holiday of the year worldwide, next to Christmas. But I was like, well, more than anything, let's diversify people's study. Like, let's get people who want to download this, who want to learn a bunch of different techniques, right? Because a lot of us, we pigeonhole ourselves into this is how we do it. I want to learn skin retouching, so I do these courses, right? And it's like, well, there's so many other techniques and skills and styles out there. Let's smash a bunch of them together. Like one of the people doing this tutorial, she's not even a photographer, she's a designer. And I was like, yeah, like, what do you say about doing a tutorial with us about, making dresses that don't require a sewing machine? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. That would be great. I would love to do that. And I was like, yes.
So did Joel and Bella, when you were asked to do this, was there any hesitation on your part, Joel?
No, absolutely not. It was sort of all of a sudden one day I got a message from Renee just saying, hey, can I call you really quick? And I was like, well, you've never asked to call me, so it must be really important. And I was like, yeah, of course. And she just kind of blurted it all out in one long sentence. And I was like, yeah, anything you need, 100%, I'm there. And I think within half an hour, I had already signed up and was excited to join the rest of the team. Yeah.
Same for you, Bella?
Honestly, how can anyone say no to Renee?
It's true.
It's so true. She's so compelling. She was like, yeah, I want to do this creative thing. And it's such a good thing as well to do right now because, like you said, most of us are at home. We have probably a more ample time than we are comfortable with right now because it's quite a difficult time to be shooting and working. And so why not up your skill set across various genres? And I'm pretty sure there will be something new in this for everybody. And we kept it at such a friendly price because it is that year. It is 2020. It's a bit not fun, but this is a really great product. And I honestly was so happy when she pitched it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Well done, Renee.
Yeah, nobody ever says no to Renee. Have you seen the last person that said no to Renee? Exactly. Never been seen again.
Exactly.
Got a lovely comment here. Becca has shouted out with a big smiley face, which is very appropriately the Smuggy logo as well, Becca. So thank you for that. That's very kind, little smuggy face there.
She's one of our instructors, so she did actually a super compelling image. I loved it. When I was thinking about who I wanted to invite to this, I mean, I thought of like 50 people, and I got down to like number 14, and I was like, okay, I have to stop.
Yeah, some of us were never asked.
Well, the plan is to do this seasonally, but Becca does such great. She does a great mix of 3D and Photoshop work, and she started doing these they're like mix of people and animal portraits. She did one that was like a tiger girl, another catfish girl, and I saw those and I was like, I want to know how the hell she does that. And then when I approached her, I didn't think she would say yes, and then she did. And she was like, well, what do you want? And I was like, make a creature. Oh my God, make a creature. I don't care what one it is.
She's
I
so
need to know how you
talented.
do this.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
was there a lot of kind of curiosity in your end, Renee, to try and get, tutorials from people that you admired and were really inspired by?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, all the people that I invited make work that I love to consume, but I don't necessarily want to create myself. I love looking at it. I love, like Bella's girls with flowers and Joel's little people. Like, I love it. I don't want to make it, but I love it. But it doesn't mean I don't want to know how it's made. Like,
Exactly.
I want to see, right?
Yeah.
And that's like really interesting to me. And so I thought, well, if I'm interested in it, someone else has got to be interested in this, so let's do it.
Yeah, and as soon as I saw it, I was, captivated for a little bit selfishly by how many amazing SmugMug and Flickr ambassadors were in that list, which is such an amazing thing to see so many of you. Unfortunately, more than we could have on the show today, but hopefully we'll have some others. But yeah, it was great to see all those amazing names on there. And even though you maybe aren't hoping to do someone's style of photography, I'm sure, or work, I'm sure there's techniques and styles that everybody has that you'll learn from, that you'll adapt into yours. Joel, have you watched them all yet and learned lots of little nuggets?
I've watched a few already, and I think it's been really cool because all the techniques I think that people have used in their tutorials are kind of universal. So I know that the techniques that I used in my own can be used for an image. You could recreate the image I made, or you can use little bits of it and kind of piece it together. So I tried to make it very specific to maybe one image, if that's the look that you were going for. But then there was also elements to the tutorial that you could combine with what you learned in Renee's, or you could combine it with what you learned in Bella's. And I think that's the great thing, is when you have a really talented group of people like that, you're not just getting 15 individual, very specific techniques you're learning. You're actually probably getting 50 or 60 or 70 combinations of things that you can use together. And I think that's what's really special about having a really diverse group of artists, is that you're learning useful skills that you can combine all of those together to supplement your own skill set or to work into your own style. And I think that's the amazing thing about art in general, is that you can watch how someone does something and you're never going to do it the same way that they're going to do it. You're always going to kind of find a way to put yourself into it.
Yeah. Yeah. What was your favorite so far, Bella, that you've watched?
So I was really taken by Jolienne's, so the designer, Veritas, that Renee invited. And especially because I've been wanting to make my own clothes for a while. With everything going on, I've been home a lot, so I've really kind of not been taking photos. And so I've got all this spare time that I've sort of been dabbling in other creative interests. So I've been making a lot of things. I've been really enjoying doing things with my hands. And so when I saw that she was on board with her dressmaking, that really inspired me. So I've already gone and bought some fabric. Yeah. And I had a look at what tools she had. Luckily, my mum already has quite a lot of the tools. So I'm really excited to sort of follow her video from start to finish properly and make a dress.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. Maybe we should have you all back on with once you've made something of a dress, or use some of the other skills from some of the other tutorials and have a look at them. There's a few more people popping in here. Let me give some shout outs. I may have to move these chats when they appear here. Let's see if I can move these. So Sarah says, hi everybody. Hi Sarah, good to see you. Another familiar face. Kelly's here. Hi Kelly, good to see you. She gives us
Another
a big
instructor.
hi. Another instructor from the group.
Yeah.
I think Curtis sums it up best. He says, Alchemists assemble.
Yeah.
Should make
I
a movie.
I love that.
Alchemists assemble. Sarah,
By the power of our skills combined.
yeah.
We need like a jingle.
A sound. You need a movie soundtrack to it all.
Well,
Next
I guess
the
will
next
be a
one.
sound center or something.
Sarah says that she's already watched Kelly's tutorial and loved it. Thanks, Sarah. That's so good.
Yeah, Kelly's is awesome. I mean, like that was just it. Like I was going through them all when I was putting everything together, and I was like, all of these are great. Awesome.
Everyone's insanely talented.
Yeah, Sarah's
I was
also
just
watched
like,
Bella's.
oh my gosh, blown away.
Kelly's also been out buying fabric as well. So Oh, here's another tutorial. Another one of your tutorial educators popped in. Another great SmugMug ambassador, Richard. Hi, Richard. Welcome to the chat. Lots going on in the chat window, so it's a great crowd in there. I'm going to play this little trailer video, Renee. Unfortunately, I'm not going to play it with sound because we will get we'll get a strike from YouTube if I play the music, because I personally don't have the copyright or the license for it. So I'll just play the trailer, and you can maybe talk over it and do your voiceover for it. Will that work?
I can try. Yeah, so obviously, this is basically displaying like a bunch of the different skills that we had. This is Becca's, again, that transformation is so cool. And, really highlighting some of the awesome tips and tricks on this, because some of these people, everything is completely, in Photoshop, and some of it is almost completely on location, and some people are using 3D. And I just loved how diverse it was. Like, I basically sent everyone out with the theme, and I was like, it has to be like Halloween-ish, and they're like, well, does it have to be scary? And I said, well, no, it just has to be like your interpretation of it, right? I brought Joel on because his style is like so cute and adorable and sweet, and I brought Dean Samet on and Clinton because their styles are very horror based, right? And I was like, well, let's just like bring all of these styles together. Same with Ashley Von Helsing. When I asked her on, she was like, really? And I said, yeah. I mean, I asked because I didn't think she would say yes, and she said, well, I've always wanted to, but no one's ever asked before, because my work is too weird. And I was like, bring it over here, I'll take all of it.
Ashley also has the most fantastic name for any kind of spooky horror kind of tutorial series.
She's great.
So
her work is amazing.
It is.
By the way, she has a self-portrait series that's just fantastic. So I'm gonna see if I can like mooch that out of her next time, maybe like give me some self-portrait stuff.
That's
up to her.
I also noticed in the trailer that Curtis's tutorial involved carrying a dead body around, which was quite interesting.
It did. Yeah, so the funny thing about that is we were filming it, and we were carrying all the supplies. We had a hike out to where we were filming, and this other woman hiker was coming the other way. She was probably, I would estimate, like late 60s, early 70s, and she's hiking by herself and whatever, and I mean, it's a super safe coastline. But then like these three people come up with like a body and like a ton of, like a big bag and like a bunch of supplies, and she looks at us, and I don't know if it was because it was a survival instinct or she was just so innocent. She's like, oh, you brought your bedrolls, that's so sweet. Either she's afraid or she's just
So cute.
Were you carrying a shovel?
You can't dig here, there's too many rocks.
Yeah.
Just go to dig.
That's
You
interesting.
just throw people off the cliff.
Just a Viking funeral, just out to sea.
So, Renee, tell us a little bit about your piece of work that you do in the tutorial. Are you able to maybe share your screen and show the finished piece of work? That would be good.
Yeah.
I'll wait till you've shared your screen a little bit. Let's see. See if I can get that one up. So. No, bear with me. I have so many screens today that it's going to get interesting. So I need to take that one away and take that one away. There we go. So this is your finished piece of work that you teach in the tutorial, yeah?
Yeah, that was it. My original idea was that nobody had done like cats or animals, and I was like, I have all these cats. It'd be fun to do something with cats. And then I tried a bunch of images with cats, and nothing was working. I was like, this sucks. And then I remembered that I photographed my friend Ray, who has, of course, this super great beard. I've used him a bunch for like a ton of different images. But he makes such a great Gandalf. And I was like, well, what if we like take that along with some photographs that I'd taken in, Alberta during the storm season with like, the yellow flowers and everything. And then I was like, and then I'll put kittens by his feet just because I'm stubborn. And I said that I would put cats in here. There's no reason for them. There's no storytelling thing other than maybe he's a cat man. Ray told me this super great story from when he was young, or not, well, young. This is from a few years ago. And he said that they were cat sitting a bunch of kittens, and he basically came home from a long day at work and laid on the floor, and like 30 kittens they were fostering just like rolled all over him, were playing with him. And I said, that sounds amazing. So I guess maybe somewhere in the back of my mind there was a little bit of that going on, where I was like, okay, well, Ray likes cats, so let's make him a wizard and with some fire and have kittens.
So it's all about the cats. It just started with the cats, and
Yeah, I was just justifying a way to do something with cats, 100%.
so what about this image can people? What will people learn? What will your specific tutorial teach people that finishes in this image?
Yeah, so in this one, I mean, there's a lot of masking because there's masking out fur. So I cover a lot of the techniques I use for hand masking fur. I mean, I'm running an older version of Photoshop, so the auto masking tools kind of suck. So there's lots of that. Color theory, of course, not as in-depth as Kate, but colors and making shadows and making highlights and painting color in manually, stuff like that. So yeah, I tried to make it the way that I want to create these images and the way that I like to create them the most.
Cool, that's great. We've lost your camera a little bit for some reason.
Yeah, for some
Renee.
reason. I don't know what's going on. I see that I'm pixelated. I look 10 years younger.
Yeah, it's a super soft filter. There you go.
Yeah.
You've popped.
The Canon soft focus lens.
Yeah, it's great. You pay extra for that, right? Yeah. Since I started live streaming with SmugMug Live, I've never had to look at myself so much. I spend days now just staring at myself on this screen, and I realize that, the years have not been kind. So maybe a soft filter would be good. Why are you laughing,
I have
Bella?
those plasma pens now, so you can just get a bunch of polka dots lasered into your face, and then bam, 10 years younger.
What we need is live Photoshop on video. I think it maybe even exists, so that while we're doing this, you could be touching out all my wrinkles while we're doing this live on air, right? There's a tutorial for you.
I want the greasy look, please.
I'm going to bring up a comment here from Brian, who says, I love the diversity of fantasy artists. It really is quite a diverse tutorial in so many ways, right? From genres to gender to whatever, right? It's a great diverse group of people. I love that.
Actually, one thing that I thought was funny was when I was putting this list together for people, when I was just writing down names, for the first time, because I've been in this industry for 23 years now in total, and it never used to be, it was always hard to find female artists. And then I was making this list, and I was like, oh my God, they're all women. I have to add some guys. So I started okay, what guy digital artists do I know? I know tons,
Hey.
But it was just so funny that it was just so female dominated, which is something that I never would have considered that I would have had to think about before, of oh, maybe I should have more people in here other than women. That's awesome. That means that all the work that has been going on for, the last decade of really pushing to get women into the creative field is working, because
Absolutely.
Now when we're thinking of these lists, it just proves that all that effort is paying off, because kids who saw someone creating something 10 years ago, who started picking up a camera, are now, they're in the field and they're professional and they're high level, and it's just not hard to find anymore, that's so great.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Definitely something to celebrate, that we can pull a list of, just females together so easily if we wanted to. I mean, 20 years ago, this industry was, so different for all the wrong reasons. The thing is, most of these new skills, didn't exist 20 years ago, and it was very easy for it to stay a male-dominant industry. But now there's so many factors to this industry. It's just, fantastic to see it. Sarah says, women of fantasy. There you go. There's so many hashtags coming out. And Becca's saying we should do VR Photoshop. Honestly, if we can do virtual reality Photoshop, Becca, I'm all in. It has to be done AI though. We can't, it has to do it automatically. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just excited that it proves that pushing diversity works. So that all the diversity push that's going on now means that in a few years, it's just going to be a thing. It's just going to be normal to have a hugely diverse industry, and that's amazing. I'm so glad that we're finally at that point where it's oh yeah, that effort paid off. It's
taken way too long and way too much effort, but yeah, definitely something to be proud of. Yeah. Could so easily not have. Joe, let's talk about your image. I'm gonna get
want me to pull it up?
I'm gonna get Bella to share your image. Now you yesterday you shared
My
it.
non-scary image.
You
I,
let me
Team
see.
non-scary.
I'm going to get rid of Bella. Apology. Sorry, Renee.
Oh,
sorry,
Bella.
Renee.
Bye.
Bye, Renee. Sorry. And then bring in Joel. There you go. And now, Joel, you posted this image yesterday on Flickr, and it has been so well received on your Flickr channel. Everybody was loving this image, and it's just very topical, obviously, for the time of year, as most of the tutorials are. But, you know, you've got a pumpkin, dude. So.
Yeah, it was when Renee invited me, I was initially a little bit, I was that person that was like, really? And then I was immediately panicking, like, oh, I'm gonna really have to like be like push myself out of my comfort zone, because I'm like not really into creating like gory stuff or like scary stuff. And I was like, I can, but I don't also want to like push away my own audience of like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? So I was like, okay, this is a good challenge to try and combine the two elements together. Like, how can I be Halloween or be, especially next to all these other people that work so well in that genre, and then also find my way into that as well. And so I tried to think of things that I would find useful if I was looking at creating Halloween images. And I thought, well, I really like pumpkins and I like ghosts. So how can I make something around that? And I thought, well, carving a pumpkin in Photoshop is actually, it's not that hard, but it's actually quite diverse. You can do it 100 different ways, 100 different faces in just a few minutes. And I thought, okay, that's a cool way that if you just had a stock photo of a pumpkin, you could put whatever face you wanted, whatever expression you wanted, and you could then have an unlimited number of options in an image. And so that was sort of the basic theme that I had, was like, okay, I'm going to center it around carving a pumpkin in Photoshop, and then I'll just figure out what else I'm going to add to it. And it sort of just grew from there. And yeah, it was fun to put together. It was like, it was sort of, I took it when it was like super, super smoky from all the forest fires on the West Coast. And so it was terrible to shoot in. I probably had some health problems after spending so much time outside, but it was like the perfect weather because it was nice and gloomy and like overcast, and like the smoke created like a really good filter, so there was no shadow. So it was like perfect for compositing. There was absolutely no harsh light at all. So it was just very quiet, very eerie. So it fit the mood to shoot it as well.
Okay. Way to use a natural disaster to your advantage there. That's
I mean, if it's happening, I may as well reap the benefits from it.
Indeed. Big soft filter all over the entire west coast of America and North America. Yeah. So, yeah. Is it still as bad?
No. Well, now it's snowing.
So it's cleared up. I think it's still pretty bad in California. I don't think they've quite got their air quality back to where it should be, but
no,
it's a great image. As I say, it's done so well on Flickr. There's a couple of comments about Flickr here. Connor McNeil's in the chat, another great ambassador for SmugMug, and he says, I've been a big fan of Joe for many years on Flickr. Connor joined me on the show a few weeks ago, maybe it was a few months ago, Connor, I can't remember, it's all a bit of a blur, but hope you're well, Connor, in Northern Ireland, doing okay. Kelly says, such a great image, Joel. It really is a lot of love for that image.
It was definitely a bit like, I was definitely nervous when I saw the list of people that were joining in, because I admire so many of them and I respect so many of them. And then to see like, oh God, I'm going to have to hold my weight against like some really talented people who really live in this genre. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to go team no scary, and I'm just going to be holding my own. We'll see what happens. So I'm very honored to be in a group of really talented people.
Well, you just answered a question. I actually had a question on my list about you and Bella and Renee about, did you feel pressure creating something that was going to stand next to so many incredible creative and artists? But you've already said you did.
Of course. I mean, the great thing is that there is no ego, I don't think, in this group, and so everyone is very humble. Everyone's and like we have a group chat where we've been talking about the project, and everyone is they're hilarious. Like the comments are so funny, and like the conversations are so honest and funny. But everyone is also very humble and very supportive of each other and excited for each other. And I think that speaks a lot to the industry that we all work in, that we don't feel in competition with each other. And I think that is the wonderful thing about this project, that Renee was able to easily grab 15 amazing artists and put them together, and there was no ego, there was no pushing and shoving, there was no like, I have to be the first on the list, or I have to have the biggest, name on the website or whatever. It was just people wanted to work together, and I think it was because we do respect each other, and we do want to see them succeed as much as we want ourselves to succeed.
Yeah. What about you, Bella? Did you feel the pressure?
I think yes, for sure, because everyone is supremely talented. And then more than anything, it was just such an honor to even be included in that list. To be like, oh wow, like these are not just other creators that I admire, but they're actually also my friends. And so I just love that. And also we made new friends because of Renee pulling everyone together. So yeah, really wonderful.
No reason to be pressured. Rising, what is it they say? Rising tide raises all ships, and that's kind of what this tutorial does, right? There's just so many things to learn and stuff. So Bella, let's have a look at your image. Renee, if you could bring up Bella's final image, and we'll have a little chat about that one.
Up here. There we go.
All right. Oh no, you're sharing your.
Oh.
There we go. Right. Sorry, Joel. I'm going to throw you out that window.
Out.
You're out of there. And then let me bring in Bella. There we go. This is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about this image.
Okay, so I actually created this image a few years ago. At the moment, I'm going through the process of going through a lot of my older works because I'm compiling a bunch of images. And I came across this one. And it just so happened that was when Renee messaged me about this joining the Alchemist Library and submitting an image. And I was going through the color toning for this because I was very, very experimental back in the day when it came to color toning. Nowadays, my skill set is a lot more refined. I can get from 0 to exactly where I want to go with not a huge loopy way. And when the initial color toning for this piece was really on another level, I was like wondering what I was doing. And I thought it'd be really interesting if I could hit the same colors with less depth and also take people along with me for the journey. So I already have a Color With Me series on my Color Lab website, and that has done really well. And I've got a lot of great feedback from it because people, I've noticed, and I'm one of them, who really like to just be able to follow along. And I learn the best when I'm following along and actually applying as I go. And I thought that for this, I would just do exactly that. So for editing this photo, I've literally done a little bit of the retouching beforehand. Not much really, just a tiny bit of skin work because Jessica really didn't need anything. But then we color toned this from scratch. So I talk about my processes, my favorite color adjustments, use layer masks, and yeah, I just sort of really set up a PSD so people can just easily follow along. And then what I also included is the action. So for those people who really like the colors and they want to then use that on other images as well, either for consistency or just because they just love the colors and it might work beautifully on another image, it comes with an action as well.
That's great, a lot in there. So Renee, tell us a little bit about what people will get when they buy the tutorial series, because you all created these very independently. There wasn't some master production and a film crew flying around the world, photographing and filming everybody. These were all put together by the artists themselves. So I'm assuming there's probably different styles and different kind of levels of assets and stuff that you get with each tutorial. Would that be right?
Yeah, no, 100%. So, I mean, we put this together in 5 weeks, which is unbelievably fast.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So there was no time to be like, oh, we should have this is what everyone's beginning is going to look like, and in middle and end, there's none of that. So it truly is just like everyone's personality. It just is what people are and what they could give me in relatively short time. So we have 3 of the artists included PSD and or a raw file with it. So it was Bella, Dean Samed, and Clinton Lofthouse. Oh, and Richard Terborg. So 4, my mistake. included a file that you can edit along with them while you're watching the video. And then everyone else basically just like smashed everything together as best as they could and made a video for it. And, you know, hopefully you can follow along with some images that you have of your own, or at least get inspired to photograph stuff that will play along those rules really well.
Yeah. Are you cool to show us a few more of the final images?
Yeah,
Do you have some more there?
100%. I have them all here.
Yeah. Sorry, Bella, you're getting demoted again.
All right.
Oh,
so
I did the wrong one. Look, there you go. I deleted the wrong thing. Hang on. Right. And then Renee, there we go. Renee, if you could just close your Skype window at the top there, though, that would be cool.
Okay, is that showing up?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we can see your
yeah,
screen.
so obviously this is Bella's, and I love it. I think it's super great. I mean, the best part about this was when I said, you know, when I brought people in, I was like, just be yourself. You know, do what you do. Like, don't try to fit in with what everyone else is doing because, you know, I asked you for exactly what you do. And so that's what everyone delivered, which was awesome. So Bella's, Joel's, myself. This is Kate Woodman's. So this is really great. The thing I love about her tutorial is it basically goes through set design and color grading, but she basically built this whole set for like $100, which is insane. Yeah. So I super love it. I mean, Kate's got great tutorials with ProEDU, you know, that really dive into the science of color and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, this is basically like, okay, Kate, you have 3 weeks. Let's see what you can give me. And she came out with this amazing image. Like she sent me just the background plate where there was no kids in it, just the TV and the lights and everything. And I was like, oh my God, Kate, I'm so excited for this. This is amazing.
So there's some real instruction and insight into doing things on a pretty low budget and coming up with some incredible concepts, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of people had to do these as self-portraits because finding models is just not possible. I mean, even with Kate's, hers was made in like a COVID-friendly way, you know, so like all 3 of these kids were not photographed there at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's all I'm going to tell you about Kate's is magic. Well, I mean, they all are, but it was very, very cool to see, like, you know, what she could make up with, like, in her living room, basically. This is Curtis's, so that's the bedroll.
This is awesome. That's so good.
Carrying. Yeah, so this one we shot over. So typically Newfoundland is super foggy and, you know, rock and roll ocean and everything this time of year, and it's been sunny and blue skies. It's so weird. So we were trying to shoot this, and so we went out and we shot twice, basically. So we shot it once and had a bunch of stuff go wrong, and we were like, okay, we're just gonna do this again. So we went out and shot it again, but we still didn't get the weather we wanted. And so then basically we told Travis, our model, you know, like, hey, he basically sent Curtis a message and he's like, hey, can I shave my face now? Because we had him not shave. Because we had this like Smuggler's Cove idea, because smuggling is such a huge part of Newfoundland history.
Yep.
You know, that there's, you know, there were rum runners and everything from the Caribbean. And so we were like, you know, let's pull this together. And then, you know, we were like, well, we have it done. So yeah, you can shave your face. Literally the next day we got all the fog that we wanted.
So you rushed back out.
We went out there and photographed some of the back plates. And so Curtis is basically like taking you through like how to build a body, you know, lighting on location, and then the retouching and some light compositing as well.
What a great excuse though, just to be able to walk around the coastline with a dead body hanging over your body, right?
It totally looks
day
like
in
a
the
body.
It's fantastic because, you know, honestly, officer, we're making a tutorial for Photoshop.
Yeah, exactly. Well, could you imagine, like, you know, if you're hiking by yourself and then 3 people just walk up, like, by with what looks like a body on a man that is very large?
You know,
what do you do?
You know who the master of making a dead body is, though? Someone who's in the chat and who's one of your instructors, Richard Taborg.
Yes, yeah, Richard makes tons of bodies. He does it in every hotel room.
Every time he checks out of a hotel room, he makes the blankets and the pillows into a dead body so that housekeeping go to clean the room and there's a dead... Yeah, have you never seen his post?
It's a whole series.
He has a whole series of them. Richard, confirm that in the chat. Because he'll post them on his social media every time he checks out a hotel room. He's like, another body for the house cleaning.
You should leave a camera in there to film the reaction.
I'm sure they've seen it all before.
Over it.
Yeah, like
They've seen it before.
Another person that thinks they're a comedian, Richard?
Yeah.
What else you got there? Who else is on the
We
list?
got a bunch more here. So this is Kelly's. Of course, Kelly's known for doing such like this like whimsical wave series that she does. And again, when I was thinking about people and like who does spooky stuff, I mean, Kelly was right on the top of my list. You know, and so when I asked her about this, she was super excited. She's like, "Oh my God, this is exactly what I need. I just need a project right now." And I was like, "Okay, go." You know, and her enthusiasm's been really, really great in this tutorial series. So I have to skip some of the parts where she's putting the spiders on though, because I don't like spiders. But you know, her whole doll creation is super great, and she has, I mean, that's kind of like her shtick and what she's known for. So I was really excited when she came together with this. She sent me a silhouette basically first of what this all looked like, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so ready for this. I'm so excited.
That's incredible, Kelly.
Yeah. This is Nicole York. Nicole York again also does like super great compositing. You know, I'm like a huge fan of what she does. I mean, she's even got like a great YouTube channel where she does like an interview series, and it's awesome. And so when I asked her to be on, she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, do a composite. It'll be awesome." And so she did like actual FX, like special effects makeup and stuff. And she combines everything together into this kind of cyberpunk world, which I thought was very, very cool. I think the gun that she has is either a Nerf gun or a water gun or something like that. So
Yeah. So another great image, Nicole. Another great image and another great human being. So wonderful.
Yeah, no, she's fabulous. Yeah. Let's see here. Next, this is Becca Bjorkes.
Hey, Becca.
So, this is awesome. When I watched hers, like how she made the teeth, it was just this light bulb, you know. Like I was like, how did she think of that? You know, and this is the kind of artist that when I talk about, you know, the people who are coming after me in my career, right? Because she's a little bit earlier in her career than I am. And, you know, people are like, oh, what's going to be next for the industry? Like, what are the next creatives going to be doing? And like, it's not going to be what I'm making. It's going to be what somebody else like 10 years younger than me is going to be making. And this, I think, is like a super great example of that, where it's just like, man, this is just so cool. And like how she put this together from the raw file. I mean, it totally blew my mind because it's completely out of the box thinking to how I look at it. I mean, whenever you create something for a long time and you're creating something in your own field for a long time, you are going to build a box in your head for like how you're supposed to create. And it eventually happens to everyone. And so it's really exciting when you find someone who has a creative process that just takes your box and just lights it on fire. You know, it's very, very cool. So it was super refreshing and super exciting to see how this all came together.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool too that you can tell that even with the instructors, we're learning things from each other. So this package is really built for everyone from beginner to advanced. Like
100%.
The people that are the instructors are, I would say, advanced or you know, well into a career, and we're just as excited to learn things from each other. So I mean, I know that somebody asked a question like, you know, who is this built for? Is it built for beginners or is it built for advanced? And it's like there's something for literally everybody. Yeah. Everyone will get some more than one thing out of it.
Yeah,
100%.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the comments. Becca said there's no Photoshop. It's just a quarantine self-portrait.
I love Brian's though. He was like, actual photo of me before coffee.
Yeah, me before coffee.
I'm trying to relate.
Yeah, now we know why your camera connection's so poor, Bella. You're in the chat. You're online in the chat window typing away there.
I don't know why the quality is so low.
No, it's because you got YouTube open, reading all the chat.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm so YouTube. There we go.
But
just run it on your phone.
Becca, that is incredible image, Becca. It's the one that, no disrespect to anybody else, but that one really, really captured my attention. That one's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course Clinton, one of the masters of horror. He does such great stuff. And again, when I asked him, I was like, "Hey, dude, I know you're super busy right now, but I can't do this without asking you." And again, knowing what he has going on in his life right now, I was like, "There's no way he's gonna say yes." And then he literally, like, within 5 days, came back with this and a finished PSD, and I was like, "You behemoth!" He finished it so fast. And again, it's like a super refreshing way to, like, this is how you make zombies. And I watched his video and I was like, I never, ever, ever would have thought to use the processes that he did, style, that kind of structure on the face. So I thought that was like super fun. I mean, Clinton does super great horror work, so it's kind of like, it's hard to do something like this and not include him.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, when he sent it to me, he said it was the zombie antichrist or something, and I was like, we're gonna go with undead priest.
Yes.
A little more sellable.
Yeah, but I think somewhere in there it's actually still zombie antichrist. I may have forgot to change the name. So I mean, if you're religious at all, well.
You too will be pushed out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so these are the dresses that Jolene came together and made, and I was just like, I couldn't believe that she made 3 versions. I was like, oh yeah, just like, my ask to her was like, can you explain draping to photographers? Because it's something that, like, a lot of us, I mean, it took me years to understand what good draping was, and I'm still like a long way from actually really getting it. And then when she came back with this, I was just like mind blown. I mean, it was I watched it start to finish as soon as she sent it to me. I was like, this is so cool. And it's so achievable, like, for anybody with a needle and thread, basically. Like, you don't have to have like the fancy stuff. Like, you can get, the necklaces from a secondhand store, and the lace you can get online. It's basically like chiffon fabric. Yeah, I was just...
So this is the tutorial that had you buying fabric, Bella, straight away, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, me too. Hold on.
Well, props. We got props.
I literally bought this after watching her video, and I was like, I'm gonna make something.
Well, that's
I don't know
incredible.
What it's gonna be, but...
We should have a make-off.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
We should do a competition of like people who follow Jolene's tutorials, like, show us your dresses from this tutorial. I think that would be
down
super
for
cool.
it.
Kurt.
Yeah,
100%.
I think that'd be super fun.
Yeah,
If you guys are interested, whoever's watching, like, make up a hashtag that we can share.
absolutely.
Like in the chat, and then we'll like make it a thing.
Curtis
Curtis
says
makes fairy tale dresses.
he's going to start a YouTube channel for Curtis Makes Fairy Tale Dresses. So. Lots of making fairy tale dresses while you fall over. That would be your YouTube channel, the perfect YouTube channel. Let's finish going through the images so that you can stop sharing your screen, because I think that's stealing some of your bandwidth. No, this is amazing.
Yeah, so this is Dean Samad, and so Dean Samad again is like a cornerstone in the horror industry. I mean, his clients are like Clive Barker and Stephen King, right? So he does amazing stuff, and he does a ton of stuff in the book cover industry. That's mostly his bread and butter. And when I asked him, again, I didn't think he'd say yes, and then he did. And then he said, well, how advanced do you want it to be? And I was like, you can make it as advanced as you want. Make it as hard as you want. Like your work style is so complicated, because I've seen his images and I just look at them and I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. So, and he also runs a company called Neostock, where he has a bunch of these stock images. So, you can actually go and collect these images and kind of like smash this stuff together as well. But he has a really unorthodox style of creating these kinds of files. And again, like, I was just like, I saw just the preview of what he's making. He just sent me like the head of the girl, that he was starting. And I was like, are you making something Hellraiser based? Like, this is amazing.
Hellraiser's completely where I went as soon as I saw this image.
100%. Yeah. So
Incredible.
that's yeah, no, just super, super awesome. Like, crazy complicated. So yeah, of all of them, his is the most advanced. And again, he was on like a crazy tight time schedule with what's going on in his world, but I was so glad when he said yes. So it was just super dope. Lillian Liu, of course, her stuff is magic. So she does an introduction to dodge and burning the way she does it. And the thing that I love about her style of dodge and burning is that it's an illustrative style. So there's like, I call it like clinical dodge and burning, which is, it's, and zero disrespect to people who do it, but people who do commercial retouching, where it just has to look clean. And then Lillian's style is, she's making decisions based on like, the health of how she wants someone to look in an image, because she doesn't always want people to look super healthy and like, sunshine and lollipops, right? So her retouching has a lot of emotion in it, and how she channels that into her dodge and burning style was just like so cool. It was really, really, really exciting. So yeah, I didn't know what I was going to get back from her. And then this popped up in the chat and I was like, yes, this is amazing. I'm so happy.
So good.
Yeah.
So
this is Mario Oliveira. So he's from Mexico, and I have admired his work for years. He's such a great digital artist. He does this great, it's a T-Rex with like 2 cannons on the side. It's a bunch of years old, but that was when I first found his work, and I was like, this is absolutely crazy. And then we had a chance to meet in Las Vegas last year, I think it was. But anyways, so when I asked him to again be a part of this, it's like, well, what should I do? And I was like, do whatever you want, like do your thing. And quarantine is the thing, so it's a self-portrait. But again, like he has this thing for like glow and color, and I love the way he uses all of those techniques. And so when he pulled it all together, it was just like a super good image. So when we put his image next to Nicole York's, he's like hunting the cyborgs. So we were like, oh
great story.
Who's gonna win? So is it gonna be like Mario or Nicole? Fight.
Come back for season 2.
This almost looks like an illustration as well. It's so cool.
Yeah, his style is super, super amazing. So I'm super curious to see, like, if I can give people more time before the next one, what they can come up with, instead of it being like, hey, you have 3 weeks, go.
I like the 3 weeks though. I actually think that when it's a shorter time thing, people just get to it. We don't faff about. We don't leave it to the last week.
we would.
I made mine the night before.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long you give us. Yeah, it doesn't matter how long you give us. We'll wait till the week before.
Yeah. Myself and Lillian were the last ones to get ours in.
But you got it done, so.
Yeah, exactly. Versus Richard Terborg, when I asked him, I know that he has a super great birthday series where he basically like kills his previous self because he's now a year older. He was like, well, what should I do? And I was like, just do like a birthday selfie, like do something super weird, because he does such great set design and he uses so much color, with like gels and everything when he's doing his photography. I was like, man, just like do your thing. Like I told everyone, just like do you, whatever that is. And, so he came up with this self-portrait with a mask that he bought when he was in Edmonton. Actually, he came to speak for the PPOC. And, and I was like, yeah, man, like, let's walk through it. So he basically talks people through his birthday series and then how to create this kind of an image. And again, it's completely unorthodox to how everyone else created their images in the tutorial. Nobody's the same. And I love it, because his is a 2-part. So he has a shooting side where he talks about, the type of lighting that he's using, where he's doing it, like the placement, and then the set design. And then he goes into the retouching, which has a PST that you can follow along with as well. So, yeah, super spooky. Totally love it. And then this is Ashley Von Helsing. So she has, this is the girl that when I asked her, she was like, well, nobody's ever asked me for this before, but I would love to. And I was like, I will ask you every time. So she has this like haunted house set in her house, like in her apartment, which I think is fabulous. And so she made this kind of, clown with the set design, and then she uses color so well as well. But again, like completely different from how everyone else is using color gels in their images. And so she's basically walking you through like a raw file to completed edit with like skin and everything else. It's all super inspiring stuff. Like it's just super, I don't know what else to say. Like it's totally great. Oh, it's a nephew. I see a nephew. But yeah, this is basically it. Like I love all of these. Like everyone did such amazing stuff, and it's all completely different. And I think that's really, really, really exciting.
Indeed. Makes it very, very special. Great look at all those. You can stop sharing your screen now if you can, Renee. That would help your camera a little bit. I've been so fortunate to have so many, in fact, all of you who are joining me on the chat today have been on your own episode of SmugMug Live, and many of the people we've spoke about. And Richard Terborg, when he joined me on SmugMug Live, we actually had a little chat about his birthday series where he kills his previous year, mostly because he hates birthdays. If you want to catch up with the story behind that, then check out Richard Terborg's episode of SmugMug Live. Very, very interesting. So an incredible breadth of knowledge and information in this tutorial. A couple of questions coming in about, how much is it going to cost? What is the investment to get all this tutorial? And I have to say, without sounding like a sales pitch, it is incredibly cheap. I can't believe what you're offering this for, right, Renee?
Yeah, no, we definitely decided that we weren't going to get rich off this. It's COVID, and I think I would have felt very exploitative if we had priced it what I think it's actually normally worth. So right now, basically the price is until Thursday, it's $6 US per tutorial. So it comes together to $99 for the bundle itself. You can't buy them individually. I don't want to deal with that accounting nightmare. Sorry.
Just get Joel to do the accounting, right? You can do math. No.
No, I draw the line at that.
Yeah.
No.
So $99 until Thursday.
Yeah, and then Thursday it goes up to $149. So you're basically paying just under $10 a video, which is still crazy cheap. And I think normally if it wasn't COVID time, basically we can almost not afford to do it this cheap. But I wanted to be able to give something out to everyone who is also stuck at home and life totally sucks right now. And for a lot of people, even finding $100 is impossible. And I totally get it. But we basically are trying to give something. And,
Yeah, I mean, I know what it normally takes to get education like this at this level from such incredible creatives and talents. So, yeah, $99 is nothing for this. And obviously we've inspired some people. It's great to see Olga's in the channel today. Hi, Olga. She says she's been convinced and she's just bought the tutorials. Supporting the friends. Thanks, Olga. We miss you.
I love it. Kelly's like, creators do math?
Yeah.
No, Kelly, that was sarcasm. That was sarcasm.
Yeah. I literally hired an accountant for this because I was like, I will screw it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay someone. Make it right.
There was a comment earlier. It would take me forever to scroll back because there's been just some incredible chat going on. But someone did ask, one, how much it was going to cost, which we've covered, but also what kind of equipment would they need as far as computers and stuff. But really anything, I guess, that plays video, PDF, and then what programs do they need to work along with?
Right. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. So there is a video that covers some Lightroom. There's videos that cover some Capture One, and then largely this is Photoshop. So I did get a bunch of questions for Affinity Photo users, and we don't have anything specifically for Affinity this time, but I had enough emails about it that I'm going to try to see if we can pull something in for that next time. But I mean, if you have Affinity, you can really follow along with a lot of the techniques. It is very similar for a reason.
Yeah.
Affinity is basically trying to poach Photoshop, and they're doing a pretty good job because the price is extremely competitive. But as it stands right now, I mean, if you have Affinity, you'll be able to get 75% of it. And I mean, I don't know about everyone here who's watching, but for myself, I'm not looking for a completely new workflow. I'm looking for little tiny slivers that I can put into my pre-existing workflow. So, but I mean, if anything, hopefully just the creativity inspires you. Just watching how somebody does something completely different, I think is just very, very cool.
Yeah. So you work mostly in Photoshop, right, Renee?
Photoshop and Capture One.
Yeah. What about Bella? What about yourself?
I work in both Capture One and Photoshop, but for this video, it's just Photoshop.
Just Photoshop, okay.
Yeah, so everything that, if you have Photoshop, even if you've got Photoshop on the iPad, which is free, I believe. There's a lot in here that you can take and edit on Photoshop on the iPad too.
Cool. And Joel, what about yourself?
Yeah, I mostly Photoshop, but then a little bit of Lightroom, but my tutorial is basically Photoshop. And I think, like Bella said, you can do quite a lot in Photoshop on the iPad as well.
Yeah, and really the techniques you're talking about when it comes to layers and blending and, you know, the sliders, they can be interpreted into other pieces of software as well. So it's definitely something there for everybody. Jim Fisher, hi Jim, says, thank you all so much for making this, getting so much out of it. So he's really enjoying the tutorial. I'm glad.
Well, if anybody's watched it, send us reviews because we want to know what you think. Don't give us crap about like all the videos aren't unified because they're just not.
Yeah.
But I really want to know what people think about these videos. Like, what did you like and what inspired you from it? Oh, hello, little one.
Little people in the show. I thought you were leaning down to pick up a cat.
Give us your feedback, man, because we want to know and we want to see what you're making with it. You know, send it to us on Instagram. I mean, you can even contact any of us that are in the videos. You know, probably directly. I mean, some people are more social media user than others, but.
Yeah. Rudy says, thank you guys, amazing, and already looking at the Alchemists Library. Thank you so much for supporting all these incredible artists, which, you know, at SmugMug and Flickr, we're so honoured to have them as ambassadors, but more importantly, to have them as friends and fellow creatives. So it's really, really cool. So kind of question to almost finish off with is, what comes next? This is spooky season, but you know, you've called it a season, so is there going to be a season 2?
Yeah, so with any luck, I'm planning on doing a holiday season. We're going to see how all this comes together. There's a lot of global instability right now, so we'll see how all that settles down. But yeah, I mean, basically gonna play this out by the seasons and see how it goes. Do holiday season and something for spring, and basically see how this goes. Like basically taking it one season at a time. This isn't a kind of thing where I have a 5-year plan for this. I'm like, I don't.
You're making it up as you go along?
Sorry?
Are you making this up as you go along?
100%. Yeah. I mean, this isn't like how I plan on spending my entire life, but I really want to be able to find, you know, people who have an interesting brain and who want to share some of it. And I don't really care if they have like a huge social media following or not. I want to diversify where creativity and where education is coming from right now, because we have these huge platforms and they do amazing stuff. But a lot of it is based on, well, how big is their following? And I want to bring in, like, I want to have people who have a big following because obviously we want to get this out there, but I want to bring in people who maybe aren't as well known. And then I want to like basically cross-pollinate all across the board because, I mean, diversification of creativity is what's going to push us forward.
Yeah. I'm assuming, Joel, Bella, you're in for season 2.
Yes.
Yes, bring it on.
I think Christmas. I mean, it's snowing right now, so how can I say no?
That's it. Get inspired, Joel.
Yeah.
I might
See
just start now.
that baby outside. Who's that beautiful baby?
That's my nephew.
And yeah, Gary Monroe says, bought it. Thanks, Gary, for supporting him. And then he says, I'm already feeling the spirit. So, yeah,
Feel
that's
free
cool.
to share it with your friends. Like, if you really enjoyed it, then tell your friends about it. And if you ever want to like gift it to somebody as like an early Christmas present, then yeah, please purchase and gift it to them. But yeah.
Yeah, there was a comment.
The one thing I wanted to push on this though is that like, and sorry, I'll start to interrupt
okay.
you, but we are only selling this for 1 month. So once October is finished, like we pushed it to November 7th because I was a week late getting it launched. We had website issues. But I wanted to run this only for the month. And so basically running it like the way fashion designers run their seasons, you know, there's like the spring and fall season. Once the month is over, like those tutorials are not available for sale anymore. Like you own them, they're on your computer, you can use them for personal use. But like once they're done, they're not for sale anymore. And so then, you know, when holiday season comes, that'll be around for 30 days and then it's done.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And then,
you know,
and then it'll
I
be
think
spring.
it's fun having like an impermanence to the education. I think that makes it kind of exciting and something to look forward to.
Yeah, I can see one problem you're going to have, Renee, is when 100 artists want to be involved in the next season.
Renee, you
We'll see
started
what
a
happens.
thing.
The question will be, how comfortable are you carrying a dead body across a bunch of rocks?
Yeah. Well, apparently a lot of us are quite comfortable with doing that.
That legit looked like a body though. That woman was like, "Oh, is that your bedding? It's obviously a body."
You could only see the legs though. The head was hanging off the bag.
Well, that's okay then. We should just do one tutorial that has to include like a rolled up dead body. Like every season has a dead
Yes,
body.
in various places, in scenarios.
How do we get
It's like planking, but with a body.
how do we get a rolled up dead body into holiday season? Or like
Under the tree.
who killed
Spooky
Santa?
Santa.
Just the white beard sticking out. It's going to be incredible.
And then you can package that and make that a whole series on its own.
Yeah, we'll see.
After a couple of years.
No, we'll just get every single artist like, okay, this is the body season. It'll be summer because it'll be like promote your body, but it'll actually just be like body, like
summer body season.
Yeah, it'll be your interpretation of the
That's
beach
a
body.
This is why I love you all.
I have put some links in the show notes in the description below here, but if people aren't reading those or can't read, then Renee, where can they go to find out, or more importantly, where can they go to buy this tutorial pack?
Yeah, so it's alchemistslibrary.com. So it's alchemists plural library.com. So yeah, and then basically click through there. All the information that you need is there, and then just hit the buy button if you're super curious and you want to add this to your list. Just super appreciate everyone who's picked this up. Like I said, I didn't know if this was going to be a complete dud or not, and I'm really excited even like to have SmugMug have us on, and that's just like super so appreciated, Alistair. That's really great.
It's our
Thank you,
honor.
Alistair.
It's
Very
our honor.
supportive.
As I said, when I saw that list of, my dear friends, but also all the great SmugMug Flickr ambassadors on there, then of course I was going to ask to get you on. I can't wait to do it next season when you launch the next one. Let's just make this a seasonal thing where we have you on and talk about it. But I don't want to wrap things up because there's such great chat going on in the chat window that.
And like, Kelly had me rolling. Kelly's like, haha, my kind of body positivity.
Best kind of body positive, absolutely. Buried. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining. This has been a little bit of an experiment for me, having 3 guests on the show, and it's worked really well. So thank you so much for doing that. I cannot wait for the next season. I really hope people go and support such a great bunch of artists and encourage them to do more. It is a steal at $99. It's incredible value, even if it was just one tutorial, but to get 15 is just incredible. And with holiday season coming up, then it's a great present for those creatives in your life. So stay safe, you 3. Thank you so much for joining me. I've put links to all your handles, but if people want to find you, Renee, where would they go?
At Renee Robyn Photography or at Renee Robyn Photo is most places, or Renee Robyn. I mean, some places, different amount of letters for every place. Some version of Renee Robyn and photography.
Yeah. Joel, what about yourself?
Just at Joel Robison, you'll find me pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. Bella, same for you.
Same here, at Bella Kotak, everywhere.
Yeah. It was so funny when I asked Pratik to tell people where they'd find me. He said, "Oh, just Google me."
Of course he did.
Okay, I've got one thing to ask. If you have enjoyed this episode of SmugMug Live, then please hit that thumb icon and give us a thumbs up and like here on the channel. Of course, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification. That way you'll be notified whenever we do another episode here on SmugMug Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. To my look
Thanks
after yourselves, and I will see you next time here on SmugMug Live. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.